continue. The protective mother. So if the nurturing mother's love language is, I will feed you, I will comfort you, I will soothe you. The protective mother is, I will defend you, I will keep you away from harm, I will make sure that you are safe. So if the nurturing mother's love is, I will make sure that you are fed and satisfied and comfortable. This one says, I will make sure that you are safe. Now, that doesn't mean that the protective mother doesn't nurture. Obviously, you understand that. So we are talking about the dominant side of the mother. So your protective mother, you know, you had a protective mother if she was first and foremost very strict. She would make sure that you come home on time at a specific time. She would make sure that you have a key. She would make sure that there are no friends that come over, because everything from her lens is perceived as danger. So when she looks at the world and looks at her children, she sees danger of some sort. So you had a protective mother when she had a curfew. She was clear that at such and such a time you are home, you are not playing outside. There are certain types of people you can't be seen with or play with. There are areas you just don't go. There are certain things you don't do at a certain time or at a certain age. Their concern is really about your safety and keeping you, yeah, literally keeping you safe from harm, whether that harm is real or imagined. And you will remember those mothers. I'm sure you, if you didn't have that mother, I'm sure you had a friend that had that mother, that mother would never allow you guys to come in at a certain time or at a weekend or whatever the case is. Usually very strict, usually very cold, usually very militant, very general in their approach. They're constantly scanning for danger. They're constantly making sure that you are not in harm's way. And that is how they loved you. They obviously sometimes take it too far, which is the shadow side of the mother. So as I'm sharing this, just think about how you are mothering. Where's your focus mainly? Where's your dominant love language? And watch the shadow side of it as well. So some of the benefits of having a protective mother is first and foremost confidence. You walk the world confident that you are protected, that you are safe, that someone will look out for you. So you are likely the child that will run and tell your mother if you've been bullied, if harm came to you. I mean, we live in South Africa where a lot of young girls, a lot of young people get molested. If you had a protective mother, those are generally the ones that you would go and tell. If in fact, usually protective mothers are very vigilant. They will see immediately that something was wrong with you, and they're the ones that will take the extra steps. The mothers who don't have a protective side strong, that was not developed, are the ones, even if you tell your mother that you were bullied or something horrible happened to you, they don't know what to do with it. They act like they didn't hear you. They dismiss it. They do all sorts of things because they don't have that protective thing with them. But a protective mother will give you the confidence to say, actually, I am safe. I can speak up. I can share when something bad or harmful or threatening is happening because, you know, my mother protected me. A protective mother also gives you that trust in yourself, trusting that you don't have to face everything alone. You know, someone has your back, and you live as an adult that has that understanding that actually things are not necessarily supposed to be faced alone. You also develop that in others. You reinforce that in other people. You protect. You stand up for other people because your mother instilled it in you. Do you see now the link? You know, I had a nurturing, very generous, very comforting mom, and that's not necessarily my most dominant. You'll see which one is my most dominant because it's an added one. But I am through and through generous, through and through giver. You will never starve when you are around me. I don't mind to cook for you 24/7 every day. Because it's something that is innate in me, that is, and then there are other people who will protect you because they had that demonstrated, you know, by their own mothers. You know, we are talking about a mother who will confront a bully. You know, this is a protective mother. They will go to that house and go say, I mean, I remember growing up, I had a friend, Nelly. We were still nine in Alex. And Nelly's mom was a fierce protective mom. She would be the one that would walk with Nelly, grab Nelly's hand, and go to the boy's house and knock and say, your son beat up my daughter. I did not have that. I just wanted to make the example crystal clear. A protective mother is that mother who will confront a teacher and say, yeah, I know that you do corporal punishment, but look at this, and they demonstrated that we have your back, as a mother. It is a mother that generally will notice when your confidence has gone down. They will notice when something has sort of changed, because that's their role. They're protecting you, and they're protecting you from all sorts of harm, psychological, physical, social even. They will warn you against friends that are not good for you. They will do everything in their power to make sure that you don't hang out with the wrong crowd and you don't do the wrong things. They will warn you about, protective mothers are the ones who will sit you down and give you the talk when you're a teenager, and they will give you the sex talk. They will tell you about condoms. They will protect you in every form they know how. And we have a lot of mothers like that, especially, I don't know if you've noticed, but the millennial mothers are like that. I think we also are that generation of those mothers. But yes, the protective mother is on the rise. And I suppose the protective mother is on the rise, or became on the rise, because the issues of the stomach did not matter so much, the nurturing, the food, the safety, the whatever, because a lot of young women, especially the millennials, have money, are working well, they're professionals. Therefore, the next best thing is to be the protective mother. Are you with me, somebody? Okay, now what are the shadow side of the protective mother? Now, this one is obvious. If the shadow side of a nurturing mother is overgiving, the shadow side of a protective mother is overprotection. You are now this helicopter mom. The helicopter mom, you don't want your child to take risks. You walk your child to everything until they're too old. You drive them everywhere until they've never used taxis, for an example. You don't expose them to real life, because life is not about you and her, or you and your children. Life is about her and the rest of the world, and the rest of the world is not about to be protective. So when you are overprotective, you really just close them in, and interestingly, you make them less independent, such that they rely on you for far too long. You find the children who never leave home, generally are the children who have had an overprotective parent. So they don't have the need to go look for their own flat, to go find their own space, to go find their own voice. So overprotection, fear-based parenting, and control disguised as care or as love. And the impact on the child, or the impact on the adult, because we eventually become adult, is self-doubt. Interestingly, you start to doubt yourself. You avoid challenges, you avoid risks, difficulty trusting your own capability of taking care of yourself in all spheres that matters. So that's the shadow side of a protective mother: overprotection, fear-based parenting, and helicopter mother, control disguised as love. Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen those mothers. I'm sure you've seen a mother like that. So in the next following videos, I will talk about the training mother, the teacher mother. And I'm smiling because you know why, hey? It's one of my favorite mothers. And then we'll also touch on the absent mother and the dark mother. And just so you know, the dark mother is not necessarily evil. It's actually a very, very high level of mother archetype. You will notice that the nurturing mother talks to the root chakra, the protective mother talks to the sacral chakra, the training mother talks to the solar plexus, and it goes higher and higher and higher. So I'll see you next week with the next video. Okay, this is my story. Please tell me who your mother was. Was she protective? Was she nurturing? What was she? Was she a combination of both? Share with me, ask me questions. Let's see how we unpack this series even further. Let me know if you want me to deepen it, and I'll do that if that's what you want. But the next 2 videos, or the next 3 videos, is the training mother, the absent mother, and the dark mother. And this is my story. I cannot wait to hear yours.